Kristaps Porzingis responded to Knicks fans after the chirping last night, and also RJ Barrett might be back to playing elite defense, and we're going to break it all down. So welcome back to Knicks Digest. My name is Chris, but first things first, very quickly, we need to get these subscribers numbers up, guys. These are the views, and these are the people who are subscribed who are viewing the channel. Only 20% of you guys are subscribed, man. Get those numbers up. But for now, let's jump right into the video. Jump right in as we always do. Porzingis responds to the Knicks fans. He sort of called us out. And what essentially happened was Porzingis elbowed Isaiah Hartenstein in the face last night. It was completely unintentional, but that does not matter. If you're Knicks fans, you're going to chant F this player if we have any sort of beef, which we obviously do with Porzingis from that ugly divorce between the Knicks and Porzingis in January of 2019. So when Porzingis elbowed Hartenstein in the face, the F Porzingis chants came out, and Porzingis had a response for that. And that was, if you look at Tim Bontemps' tweet, Porzingis later said that the crowd chanting that for me, it was fun. I was just enjoying that and kind of using that as motivation. Motivation to make some big plays at the end. It was a really, really fun to play in that type of environment. I just read that pretty horribly, but we're going to push right through it. Now, Porzingis has had nothing but love for New York ever since his departure. The love has not been mutual. Knicks fans have not liked Porzingis since he left. It feels like his brother, Giannis, yes, ironic, sort of pushed Porzingis to make this decision, and it came out that Porzingis would prefer a trade out of the New York Knicks before the deadline in January of 2019. He got the trade. He got sent to Dallas in exchange for 2 first-round picks, one in 2021, one in 2023. The 2023 one had a top 10 protection. We all saw how that worked out. The Mavs got salty that we signed Jalen Brunson away from them, that the Porzingis trade flamed out for them, and they tanked to get their own pick back, and now we have it again this year with the same protection, but if it does not convey, it turns into 2 second-rounders. So hopefully Dallas does just well enough that we take their draft pick back. But also, there's just beef with Porzingis because the way that he ended things. It was rough. It was not what we liked, and he just did not end it very professionally. And ever since, he's always been nice to New York and saying that he does sort of consider it a home because it was the first place he lived once he moved to the States. And now he's back in the Northeast on the Boston Celtics. He balled out against the Knicks because the Knicks wanted to play drop coverage all night against Porzingis and Al Horford, and that led to Porzingis going 5 for 9 from 3 last night. Obviously, when we saw this team, we knew it would be a rough game, and it absolutely was. The Knicks only lost by 4 despite not playing very well, and it was because of Porzingis, who beat us more than anyone else, including Jason Tatum, who went for 34 points. But Jason Tatum was also guarded pretty well by RJ Barrett, and that is what we call a great transition. Now, this was historically bad from Jason Tatum, because here's the deal. When RJ Barrett was on him, Tatum could not do much. When everyone else was on Tatum, Tatum was doing everything. So clearly what needs to happen is that we need to see RJ Barrett being back to his normal self defensively. He was sort of inconsistent defensively last year. We need that elite defending RJ Barrett because it really was one of the great bright spots of him in years 2 and 3. And I want to see that guy again. We knew coming out into the league that he had massive defensive potential, and he's shown it in bursts. He showed it all of his second year when he was an elite defender. We saw it all of his third year when he was a great defender. Last year, not so much. We need to see this once again from RJ. That's what we really need more than anything from RJ Barrett is elite defense and just him to get those shooting numbers back up to where we want them to be. All that being said, let's just take a look at these numbers because they really were nice. So last night, Jason Tatum shot 20% when defended by RJ Barrett and shot 70% when defended by the rest of the team. When RJ matched up against Tatum in the third and fourth quarter, he was able to hold him to 1 for 5 shooting to help the Knicks get back into the game. RJ always seems to play great defense against Tatum and was a lot more effective than Grimes was as Tatum shot 5 for 5 when defended by Quentin Grimes. Should we have RJ be the main defender for Tatum in future matchups? Now, just based off that alone, the answer is yes. RJ is good against Jason Tatum. I also don't like when Quentin Grimes guards a guy like Tatum. Tatum's like 6'8", 6'9". Grimes is like 6'5". And Grimes is a great defender against guards. I don't think he should be guarding a bunch of elite small forwards if they're on the bigger side like Jason Tatum is. I think that's when you put on RJ Barrett because RJ is the small forward of this team. Grimes is the shooting guard. This is where you have Grimes guard Jaylen Brown, because the way that RJ matches up with Tatum is better. RJ is so strong. He's so physically strong that he's going to do a lot more work to get physical with Jason Tatum and not let Tatum get into the paint with ease. And Jason Tatum's game works the best when Jason Tatum can get into the paint whenever he wants. So I think RJ should be the guy the Knicks want to match up with for the future when it comes down to guarding Jason Tatum. I think he is the guy who we want to see guarding Tatum this year. And hopefully Tom Thibodeau makes that adjustment, because we know that both Tatum and Brown are both adepts to going off for 40 points whenever they want, but usually not both of them will. I think that means that Quentin Grimes should be guarding Jaylen Brown, because he's way more suited to do great against Jaylen Brown, who had a quiet game last night, than guarding Jason Tatum. And then we have RJ guard Tatum, who is absolutely set to just do work on him. Just really go to work and be strong, be physically strong, be in his face. And I think there's also some sort of Duke thing there. It feels like RJ does play good defense in certain matchups, and this is one of them. And Tatum and RJ, they came up at the same time, went to the same college. Obviously not together. Tatum was a year before RJ. But they have that connection, and they're in a similar age group. And RJ wants to be there, and he wants to be stopping Jason Tatum in these situations. So I do think that it is very important that the Knicks keep Barrett on Tatum for the future. He is the best guy the Knicks have to stop Tatum from getting to the paint. And the best way to stop Tatum from being as effective as he was last night is to force him into shooting more jump shots than Tatum wants to shoot. Obviously, he can be a tremendous jump shooter, but his game works around how can he get to the paint, because he gets into the paint so easily. He's so good at it. He's so talented at it that the best way to stop Jason Tatum is sort of what we saw when he played against, or when the Celtics played against the Philadelphia 76ers in the playoffs last year. Because what we saw there in that game where Tatum was horrible and then hit those 3 threes in the fourth quarter was he was struggling to get into the paint, and he was taking a lot of jump shots that he was settling for, and that's when Tatum goes cold, is when you force him to shoot more jump shots than he wants to. Mind you, as good as Tatum is everywhere on the floor, both offensively and defensively, his game revolves around driving to the paint. And the Celtics have a pretty perfect team to let Tatum get into the paint, which means there will have to be a lot of one-on-one matchups, because this drop coverage on Kristaps Porzingis cannot continue, that RJ Barrett is probably the right guy to put on him, because he's the only one big enough. Grimes is too small. He's the only one quick enough, because Randall is too slow, to guard Jason Tatum well enough to force him into shooting jump shots that he does not want to take. And that is really, I think, what the Knicks should do going forward when they're playing the Celtics. We'll see the Celtics 3 more times this year. We might see them in the playoffs. I think the Celtics are going to be the #1 seed this year. And yes, that siren in the background is because that is an emergency, because no one likes the Celtics. We're from New York. We hate Boston. F Boston. I'm not going to say the whole word because I do not want to get demonetized. But that is really all that we have for today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. It's so fun to make videos now that the season is back, man. Oh my gosh. I almost cursed a lot right there just off instincts, because I am so thrilled for the NBA season to be back. Yeah, you've seen 2 duos from me and Dariel. Me and Troy are going to be coming out with one very soon, probably within the next 24 hours. Dariel and Troy are going to get on them, so you have to stop looking at this whole face and hearing my voice and hearing me scream about things, and as Troy likes to mention, smile way too much. This is for you, Troy. But yeah, no, seriously, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. I'm wearing a LeBron shirt, so look anywhere around. Look at the Knicks jerseys. Go Knicks.